I'm Jenny Ely, and I work at ILM Lab, Lucasfilm's immersive entertainment studio in San Francisco, California. Get in the Door is shining a spotlight on the talented teams at Lucasfilm and Industrial Light and Magic's global studios who bring your favorite films, games, TV shows, and theme park attractions to life. Let's meet the digital model shop team from the Vancouver studio.
Hi, my name is Corinne D. I work in the digital model shop, and I am a junior digital model artist.
Hi, I'm Mark Keach. I'm the hard surface model lead / supervisor, and I've been at ILM for about 5 years.
Hi, I'm Matt Hunt. I've been with ILM for about 6 years now, and I'm a modeling supervisor.
Hi, my name is Marco Fiorna, and I'm a lead texture artist at ILM, and I've been at the Vancouver studio for 6 years.
So what is a digital model shop?
It used to be a physical model shop where they built miniatures and things like that for movies. And when the technology progressed to a point where we were using computers more, the digital model shop was established. So we make the digital models and textures for movies and TV.
So it's sculpting and painting just on the computer in 3D.
What kinds of things do you make digital models for?
We make digital models for everything across the whole spectrum from the big crazy creatures like King Kong, the whole way through to big robots, all the way down to tiny little props that you won't even notice.
And how do you do that? Do you use specific software to do this?
So we use a bunch of different software. The most common ones are Maya. We also use Mari to texture, and ZBrush as well.
Tell me something in a movie or a TV show or other project that you have worked on that you can point to and say, I made that, I contributed to that thing that's on the screen.
Iago, the parrot on the live-action Aladdin adaptation. So for that character, I was responsible for painting the textures on the asset, meaning I make the materials of the feathers and the skin and the beak and the eyes.
One of the favorite characters I've worked on was Da from Valerian. He's this little kid that pops up in the toy shop for a few scenes and was something a little bit different from the norm that we make here.
Blitzwing for Bumblebee. He's kind of the main bad guy that shows up at the beginning of the film to attack Bumblebee. A super challenging project, but super fun to work on.
In the dream sequence with T'Challa, I got to model the big tree that's in the middle with all the panthers, and I also got to texture the tree as well.
What other kinds of workers in the visual effects industry do you work with as you're creating your assets or making a movie?
As a texture artist, we work most directly with model and look dev. A look dev artist is a technical artist that defines kind of the final look and quality of the asset. So they define the different materials an asset's going to be, whether it's skin or concrete or something soft or hard, and how the light interacts with those surfaces.
Production's really important to our team. They basically help schedule when things are due and let us know what to do next if we're done a task. So they're super important.
And they bring the snacks, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Snacks are very important.
As a modeler, we're at the beginning of the pipeline, so we really end up having to deal with all of the departments in a way, like texture, look dev, rigging, layout.
Can you tell me the difference between a hard surface modeler and, I want to say soft surface modeler, but that's probably not right.
The other category would usually be creature modeler or organic modeler. And that kind of gives you an idea of the difference. I make things like vehicles and robots and mechanical things rather than squishy things like characters.
What have you learned from working with your team?
I learned with the team that it's so important to be a good communicator. You have to be in such lockstep with your team and your production to meet kind of the demands and the tight deadlines.
So as a supervisor, does that mean that you are supervising the teams of people who are working on digital models, or are you supervising the actual work that's being done, or both? Like, what does it mean to be a supervisor?
Yeah, what do you do, Matt?
What do I do? Nothing. So as a modeling supervisor at ILM, I'm responsible for looking after the modeling team that's on my show. I brief work, I review work with them, and I also help with the technical aspects of making sure that everything is done correctly. And additionally, I work a lot with our production team to make sure everything is done on time.
Can you each tell me about when you first discovered what you wanted to do and how you decided to go into this particular field?
So I grew up doing art through school and high school, and then I went to university to do a broad media degree. I thought I wanted to be a photographer. But I found 3D at university in the second year and fell in love with it.
I was working as an animatronics technician in Berlin. When things were slow, I would just hop on the computer. They had a digital department as well. They did CG stuff there. So I would just hop on and I learned Maya, I learned ZBrush, and just kind of fell in love with it.
And so after university, I went to Think Tank Training Center because I want to work on film.
It's actually a funny story. So I went to Think Tank, and one of the reasons I went there is I actually saw Marco's reel on the website, and that made me want to go to Think Tank. And he did such a good job in it that I wanted to try to do the same.
And so you're telling me that you saw the reel of someone on your team and that inspired you to do this?
Yeah.
That's so cool. What do you think makes Industrial Light and Magic, or specifically ILM Vancouver, unique to other visual effects studios that you may have worked with or know about?
ILM's a really special place to work, and I think it's the people that make the real difference.
I think what makes my studio special is that I feel like they really care about the employees.
How flat the hierarchy is. They're really welcoming to new people, new ideas.
Was there anything that you had to learn that you didn't already know to set you up to do this job?
So I knew the basic knowledge of Maya and Mari, but like proprietary software, I kind of had to learn on the job, and also not be so scared in front of these amazing artists.
And Corinne had absolutely nothing to be afraid of because she's so talented and just jumped into absolutely everything. She answers questions for me because I don't know how something works in the proprietary software. So she's just amazing.
I think as well, just having a hunger for learning more is something that's super important. As I've been doing this for 13 years, and so people have been doing it a hell of a lot longer than me, and I learn stuff new every single day.
So you would rather hire someone with a little less experience that is willing to learn than someone with a lot of experience who's kind of
100%. I would much rather hire someone who's got the correct attitude and is an 80% artist than a 100% artist who does not have a good attitude.
I would just say be hungry to learn. Like, we can really tell when we interview people if they're passionate about the work, about what we're doing, about creating stuff.
Was there any job in your past that you feel helped prepare you for the job you do now?
So the only job I had before visual effects was working in a supermarket, and it's the same deal. You have to turn up on time, you have to be a responsible person, you have to communicate.
I was in a microbiology lab, so I worked as a scientist for a little bit. So during that time, I got to learn to work in a team and how important deadlines and other things were. So it really helped.
Just give us maybe one or two things that helped you get your foot in the door.
Not to be afraid to apply. I didn't think I was gonna get ILM, but I applied out of a whim and I got an interview and here I am.
So I started as a runner, and I just encourage people to try and get any job they can in the industry and work your way up from there.
I think perseverance for sure was a key aspect. I mean, I agree with Matt that it's good to go for whatever job you can in the industry and work your way up.
I think something really important was having the support of my family and my friends. Visual effects or working in film is not a traditional kind of career path for Filipinos that grow up in Manila.
If you were talking to someone, like a young person or someone who's trying to change their career, and they were talking to you about your specific job, what would you tell them?
I would tell people to hop onto YouTube. There's so many tutorials out there now that you can certainly get your sort of teeth sunk in without going to school, just to kind of open your eyes, see if it's the correct thing for you.
The more you can put into learning stuff of what you want to do and all of the things that surround that, then that'll help you for sure.
For someone who's trying to get into visual effects, what I would tell them is to definitely try out the skill and know that there's more than one thing. Because when I was learning and before I got into visual effects, I just thought there was animation. But there's a whole branch of other things out there. So really taking your time to learn what's out there, trying different things from YouTube, and find a passion for it. Because I think that's what's going to make you come to work every day.
Join the digital model shop team.
Get
In
The
door.